It's time for To the Max Sports, where we talk about sports. They're just two guys, Max and Drew, in a bar talking all things sports. Well, without the bar. And the beer. Wait, why aren't we in the bar?
Folks, welcome to another live edition of Take It to the Max Sports. I am here with my trusty cohort, Max Arredondo. We don't have Jason tonight. He's out on doing whatever Jason does on Thursday nights. But right now we have Brother Bob working the knobs and on camera.
Oh, man. I don't want to go after that introduction.
We left Brother Bob speechless. But he can work those knobs, I'll tell you what. And he's doing the camera tonight. Okay, on to the serious stuff. Well, guys, we predicted it. I believe we actually called it about 3 or 4 weeks ago when the SEC came out and said Texas and Oklahoma were going to be joining the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
We said, you know what? Big Ten, Pac-10, ACC, they need to start making some phone calls. And guess what, Max? Guess what happened this week?
Yeah, on Tuesday, they met and created an alliance, which, I think it's a great thing. What they did is they're keeping their conferences once they will come together from poaching each other, their teams. But also the big thing here for the big picture with the college playoff, the SEC is probably going to get a number of teams in that playoff. They're thinking ahead, which I really love. Now the Pac-10 has 3 votes with any kind of changes or any kind of decision making, which gives them pretty much one of these big cards to play for this. So I like it. I really do. So.
Yeah, like I said, we had to neutralize the SEC. When I say we, I'm a Big Ten Buckeye fan. So, and they actually have done that. Now they're going to have some voting power. I know there's a lot to be worked out with TV revenues. I know ESPN has a big contract with the SEC. I think that ends in 2025. So there were so many factors in play. I was thinking about it too, Max, for recruiting aspects too. If we get the ACC and the Pac-10 and the Big Ten on alliance, you think about it, really predominantly your football, let's say your football gold nuggets to me come from Texas, Florida, and California.
Okay.
So now that you've got California and Florida possibly in the fold against the Texas, it's going to help with national recruiting across the board, and you'll be able to draw still the Big Ten, the ACC, and the Pac-10, of course, from California and the Floridas, not to mention the fact that now you've got an alliance that literally is going to go coast to coast from the East Coast to the West Coast. And that's something the SEC can't say that they're going to be able to do right now.
Yeah, and it also helps with the basketball programs, both women and men. So you said it absolutely correct, where this alliance, it's going to be a good thing. I'm glad that they got ahead of it and got together and made that decision. So I'm looking forward to it, man. And here we go. This alliance versus the SEC, bring it on.
Yeah. Now it's kind of a working man's agreement right now.
Sure.
So I think it's kind of detente. They're like, hey, we're gonna work together. We're not going to start, hopefully a Clemson or someone won't jump ship.
Exactly.
But hopefully this whole thing will work out.
Yeah.
It's going to create, like we've talked about in the past, some really exciting football.
Well, it's going to be interesting for me. It's going to be so what happens to the teams at the top of the revenue, or I mean the top of those conferences that are actually driving the revenue. The Ohio States of the world, even the Oregon, the USC, the UCLAs. If they're sitting there at the top going, we're the reason why people are watching.
Yeah.
Why am I being dragged down by all these schlubs at the bottom of the conference? It's like Vanderbilt to Alabama.
Yeah. That's one of the schools that comes to mind. Yeah.
Well, you can say the same thing about the SEC. I mean, they got their Missouris. Question though, I just thought of this. I see that little BU thing on your shirt. Private schools, that's the ones I think that are going to be left out in the dark.
Well, when we think about the private schools like Duke and Baylor, Just making sure I have this correct. Baylor is the defending national champions for the men, and they're not slowing down. And the women have a great history, and so does Duke. I think one of this we keep thinking about the football programs in this, but let's not forget basketball because that generates revenue as well, and that is super huge in March. And I think that even the smaller schools they'll keep in there because of the basketball programs that they have. So I'm excited
Yeah, so am I. On to something else. Max, am I old school?
a little bit.
I think we both are.
Yeah. Yes.
I promised you I'd try to watch the Hard Knocks. I watched the third one. I grinded through it, man. But I got to tell you, I got to reevaluate my Cowboys win-loss record. Um, I just I just don't see any leadership on this team. I think what Jerry's done. Did you ever go to school with the rich kid whose parents bought him everything, didn't really have to work?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I see with Jerry's team right now. You got a lot of pampered NFL players that are living in this big house, a beautiful stadium. They got all their wants, all their needs taken care of. The only thing I really don't see is any desire. Um, I saw Ezekiel Elliott during a game with a bag of popcorn or chips or something. I'm thinking, can you imagine a Vince Lombardi if Paul Hornig or someone was walking around eating a box of chips during a live scrimmage? It's
Yeah, Hard Knocks right now, HBO is really trying, and you're absolutely correct. One of the things that they're doing is they're trying to find a couple of players that they can really, really have the audience kind of fall in love with, and they're trying to do that with a couple of players. One of the things that we are seeing from them right now is Tank Lawrence. He's trying to step up as a leader, and that's fantastic. We like that. But my question to what you're saying is, where's Dak? You know, what about Amari Cooper? What about offensive linemen? I mean, where is that key leadership role
yeah,
coming from? And like you said, it's getting a little stale. I just need to have them kind of bring it up a little bit, add some flavor or sizzle to the program. I mean, I know they're practicing back in Dallas. They got 1 week left of preseason, but let's see something. I want to see something. Let's bring it up to I don't know
yeah,
a level where we start seeing something different from them. But I agree.
yeah. It's gotten stale, and I am concerned. I mean, I'm not a huge Cowboy fan. I'm a football fan. I had this team going 9-8. I'm reevaluating this with Dak 7-10. If he's hurt, 5-12. I mean, there's no leadership, and it's kind of disappointing. But Hall of Fame. I'm going to switch gears here.
Yeah.
We talked about the Football Hall of Fame a couple weeks ago. Switching to the Baseball Hall of Fame, I got a couple opinions on a lot of people I think belong, but two, I watched the show and I'll get more into that. But the Baseball Hall of Fame's probably going to be coming up pretty soon with some nominees. Who do you think's not in that should be in?
I have one name that I really feel strongly that should be in the Hall of Fame, and it's Rafael Palmeiro. I know he's one of the players out there, or actually the player out there right now that's got 3,000 hits, 500 home runs, and soon we're going to have Albert Pujols, and I know Alex Rodriguez has the same stats, and they're about to come up as soon as Albert retires, but Alex Rodriguez is about to come up to the ballot. Here's what my question is to you, Drew. If Albert Pujols gets in the timeline,
Yeah,
and if Alex Rodriguez gets in, then if Alex Rodriguez, I'm going to repeat myself, gets in, then why shouldn't Rafael Palmeiro get in?
yeah.
Same thing.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but Palmero was part of the. I know a lot were involved in that steroids era, but I believe that there were some questions about a lot of the ways he handled that commission
Okay.
when he went up there and he talked to him. And I'm just not sure right now how much the writers are holding the steroid issue against the players.
Hmm,
Um,
Okay. It's interesting because with you saying that, we're old school, but I'm hoping, and I know he'll get in, right? Um, Roger Clemens.
okay, well, P. Rose,
Pete Rose should be in.
you know, I'm a huge Pete Rose fan. I'm a huge Reds fan. I can go through the whole 70s lineup if you want me to, but that'd be a boring show. But the thing that really bothers me about Pete, baseball's come so full circle now that he got banned from the game for betting, and now during a baseball game they'll actually have the inline inning games. But the thing that bothered me the most about Pete was, one, I think if he hadn't come across so arrogant, if he hadn't have lied, if he hadn't have bet when he was actually playing on his team, and that's the biggest concern, because as a manager, you can't affect the outcome of a game when you're managing him. I believe he said he never betted against his team. I don't believe that. Or he never betted his team to lose.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, he was still betting a team that he was managing. That's bothersome. I would put him in with an asterisk.
Okay.
Maybe
so let's do that.
Yeah, maybe an educational moment for all these guys. So they're in the Hall of Fame. They got the bust, but then there's going to be that asterisk that talks about the things that they did that kind of diminished the fact of what they still accomplished on the field, which you can never take away from them.
Well, with that being said, what did we watch a couple weeks ago? We watched the Yankees play the White Sox, and it was the Field of Dreams, right?
Yeah.
And in that celebration, which was a fantastic game, by the way, and I think they're going to have that every single year now. But here's my question: Shoeless Joe Jackson got in trouble, got everything taken away, but it was never proven that he did that. That he took the money. There's arguments back and forth. Baseball, and you said it, baseball needs to start with a change. Like basketball, you can bet on basketball games, and football, you can. I mean, there's even places. I think Arizona has a place in their stadium where you can actually bet on the games. You can bet on everything now. That's where we're at. It's 2021. We're betting. This is a society where we're going to bet. Baseball needs to relax a little bit. Pete Rose needs to come in, but from my opinion, Rafael Palmeiro belongs in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his numbers, I agree. One guy, I was talking to Brother Bob, and I said, when we do this segment, I'm going to put a guy in the Hall of Fame that I think belongs. And he's like, he's already in. I was like, no, believe it or he's not. Billy Martin. I mean, to me, Billy Martin deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Veterans. This guy was, he was a gutsy player. He played in the 50s and 60s, won multiple World Series as a player. Wasn't a great player, but still had a lot of grit and determination. But I think what really secured his place in baseball lore is the fact that he did win World Series with the Yankees. He took the Detroit team, which was horrible, turned them around, took the oath on athletics. And I forgot about this till I watched the documentary. Everybody remember Billy Ball? That's what they called it back in the day. Billy Ball, he took the Athletics, who were terrible after their nice run in the early to mid 70s, turned them around, came back every time Steinbrenner asked him to come back, which is 6 times.
6 times, yes.
He turned the team around. So how can you not have a character like Billy Martin in it, And again, it may harken back to the fact that he did have some off the field issues, punching a marshmallow salesman. He got in many fights with reporters. So, but at the end of the day, you can't diminish what he did on the field. And actually, it didn't involve anything that involved gambling or steroids or anything like that. He did drink a lot, but that probably diminished his game.
Well,
any thoughts on that, Brother Bob?
Well, I wonder if the marshmallow salesman really deserved it. And I mean, if he deserved it, I mean, can we really hold it against him?
If you're selling marshmallows, you deserve to get your ass kicked.
But as to all the players that played during the so-called steroid era, why are they any different than the guys that were popping uppers and all that stuff back in the 50s and the 40s, and Mickey Mantle coming back from a bender and clear himself out. What's
amazing with those athletes is they were doing alcohol. That actually diminishes your ability to perform, and they still were performing at a high level. But you're right. You can go into everybody's past. I think Ty Cobb was a racist. I mean, if you dig deep enough, you're going to find something. Let's stick to their on-the-field accomplishments.
There you go.
It's a different era now. Like you said, attitudes have changed. Now that betting attitudes have changed, I do see Pete at some point
At the end of
being
the
in
day,
Hall of Fame.
the grade and the judge part is it's between the lines. It's on the baseball field. It's on the court of basketball. That's where you judge them. Let's move on. Put them in. Let's go.
Yeah, really quick. I'll mention my other one later. We're running out of time, but Billy Martin was my primary one.
That's a
You
good
had
one.
Rafi Palmeira.
Mhm.
Switching gears, we had talked about the baseball divisions. We had made some predictions last week about who we thought would be in the baseball leaders at the end of the season. So we're going to put on our genie hat. We're going to look at that crystal ball, and right now I'd like to predict who we think in each division is going to be the leader in the NFL.
Okay.
I will start with the AFC North.
Okay.
I have Baltimore. You know, they said Lamar Jackson, they figured him out. Well, you know, they may have figured him out, but he was still, if I can read the stats, I forgot my glasses, by the way. He was still 9th in the league in rushing with his so-called sophomore jinx, and 7th in quarterback rating last year, which is still pretty impressive. This is his 3rd year. He's got some talented receivers around him, led by Watkins. Solid defense, ranked 6th in the NFL. Watch Baltimore. Baltimore wins that division.
Okay. And who do you have in the East?
Well, who do you have in the North?
Oh, we're going that way. Okay.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, absolutely. Mine's going to be real quick. I have Cleveland. They keep improving every single year, and Cleveland's got a good defense, one of the best defenses out there. And with healthy receivers this year, I think, you know, the quarterback play is going to step up. I see Cleveland winning that division.
Have they finally solved their quarterback position?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know Bubby Brister said he's available.
No, they'll be
I think
good
he's
with
the only
Cleveland.
one that didn't play for in the last 20 years. AFC East, the Bills. I got the Bills solid.
Good pick.
Yeah. And yourself?
I have New England. They're actually going to win the division. So
With Cammy or
no, they're going to go with Mac Jones. He's
Mac Jones?
yeah, he's
Okay.
doing really well, especially in the absence of Cam Newton. So he's stepping up. And then today, I believe that, or was it yesterday, Mac Jones and the offensive coordinator were seen almost holding hands,
Oh,
walking out to the field. So there's some relationship building there. So I
okay.
have them coming out of the East.
I don't know how holding hands translates to a divisional title, but I'll take your word for
All
it.
right.
Okay, the AFC South.
Yes.
I have the Tennessee Titans.
Good pick. You know, with Tennessee, I see them doing really, really well. I was going to pick them, but I think, honestly, Indianapolis Colts are going to take that division.
Wow,
Mhm.
you're shaking up the AFC big time.
Shaking it up a little bit. We got to
Shaking
see
it up.
something different. And then in the West, what do you have?
The West, I have the Chiefs.
I'm going to pick someone. I have the Chiefs as well. Nobody's going to beat them. So, yeah, that's pretty easy.
You know, San Diego is actually looking not too bad.
The Chiefs are going to win.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, they could be. We got a most improved. I don't know if you picked your most improved.
Most improved, it's going to be Indy.
Okay. I'll give you my most improved here shortly.
Okay.
So that's our AFC. Let's go to the NFC East.
Yes, NFC East. You know, Washington's got a great defense. The Giants, I don't know if they can take the next step. Philly, they're in trouble. I have Dallas winning that division.
Okay, I did though. I watched Hard Knocks.
Oh, I'm going to disagree with you both.
Yeah, Washington wins
The Washington
division.
football team for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Okay,
No.
well, that's why we're here.
We're on the same sheet of music. Washington
Okay.
finishes 12-5. They're not going to ask who's the quarterback.
Oh, 12-5?
12-5, he
12-5.
says. Fitzpatrick for
Fitzpatrick.
Washington. Yeah.
And here's the thing: their defense is so solid. They're going to tell Fitzpatrick, "You don't have to win a game. Don't win a single game. Just don't lose us a game." And if he does that, they'll win 12 games.
So you're saying their defense is going to start playing some offense?
No, I'm saying that if Fitzpatrick doesn't try to win a game, they're going to win.
Oh,
Well,
okay, good. I'll give you that one.
And it's a weak division. I mean, I could see
Yeah,
Washington
yeah.
winning it at 9-8 or
Yeah.
even 8-9.
Which
Yeah,
they
I
did
agree.
last year. They did. So who do you have coming out of the North?
So out of the North, I have this is my shocker: the Bears.
The Bears.
The
Wow.
Bears.
That's actually a pretty good pick, but I think with the Bears, they're coming along. They're going to be they're going to do really well this year, but I have Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers, he's unstoppable, so
You
I
know,
have
they
him
lost
winning.
Funchess again. I know he didn't play last year. He went down
Yeah,
in
but
practice.
I still have Green Bay winning that one. So
I think Green Bay's a little dysfunctional right now. I don't know if an unhappy employee translates into a good employee. He's a pro, but I know they've had a lot of controversy this year. I could see one or two things going wrong with Green Bay, and all of a sudden they're looking up at the Bears. One thing I'll say about the Bears is one of the things I look for is quarterbacking. Andy Dalton's a solid veteran. I know he struggled a little bit with Dallas, but
Mhm.
who doesn't struggle with Dallas? But at the end of the day, look how deep they are. So they shelved Dalton. Who did they go to? Fields. Oh, okay. Fields isn't working out. Oh, then we'll just go to a guy who won a Super Bowl. We'll go to Nick Foles. So they're three deep at quarterback. Their defense always comes to play and is usually fairly solid. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say the Bears.
Okay. So we have now the South.
Yes. The Brady bunch.
Yeah, I have Tampa Bay winning that one as well.
Yeah, I mean, I can't try to beat a team that won the division in the Super Bowl last year.
Who do you have coming out of
In the West, I have the
yeah.
Rams. Stafford, I think he's talented enough now that he has some talent around him. We'll see. We'll see what the real Matthew Stafford's all about for sure.
Oh,
No
absolutely.
excuses.
Yeah, I have the Rams as well. And
Okay.
who do you have winning the NFC division?
So in the NFC, I have, if I didn't say it, first of all, I've got Baltimore in the AFC,
Okay.
and then I got the Brady Bunch, Buccaneers.
So you have Baltimore and Tampa Bay.
That's my Super Bowl picks.
Okay. I have Kansas City and the Rams.
Okay. Well, we are way different. Who do you have winning the Super Bowl?
Kansas City.
Okay. And I've got Baltimore. Baltimore beats the Brady Bunch 37-31. They intercept Brady in the end zone and secure the win. So you have those picks.
Good.
And we'll see what happens. We're going to revisit our picks and who we had winning the division probably around mid-season, see how close we are.
Good. And we'll do maybe like a sandwich or
Yeah.
a bottle of soda or maybe a beer or something.
Well, maybe. We'll figure it out.
We definitely need to bring beer into
Yes.
this.
got
Yes, we
plenty to
do.
Yeah, I agree. On a more serious subject, one of the things, and especially in this crazy world right now, nobody's immune to it. We've all had our off days. I think we can all say that. Mental health has kind of come to the forefront, and a lot of pro athletes are actually picking up that mantle and talking about issues they had. So you want to speak a little bit to that?
Yeah. One of the things that you were talking about with Hard Knocks, an article came out on Dak Prescott in Sports Illustrated. It's a great article. It talks about his brother. His brother fought with mental health issues and committed suicide. Another thing that came out this week was Herb Street came out with a new book, and it's going to be a fantastic book just from all the interviews he's doing.
Yeah.
One of the things he talked about, he had some struggles with his dad. So recently, also, I was kind of looking up. Simone Biles was struggling a little bit as well,
Yeah.
and Naomi Osaka was struggling. And one of the ones that I went back and researched was Dale Earnhardt Jr. struggled with his dad's passing, and mental health is a real issue. And one of the things you did say was the platform. One of the things that I really want to make sure that we have help out there, but let's talk about that. When somebody says, they're not feeling good or they want to talk about something, or even their body language or something suddenly changes in them, in this person, let's talk about them and let them know there's something out there that they can seek for help. And
Yeah.
we do have a website that we want to talk
Yeah,
about.
it's an important issue to address. I think Brother Bob is going to put up a. So, guys, if you have somebody
Wrong one.
that,
There we go.
if you have somebody right now, or you're out there and you feel like there's no one to talk to, just know that you're loved. There are people that care about you. You can go to that website. So, this concludes our show. I do want to ask Brother Bob. Brother Bob, you had something?
Yeah, I mean, not to make light of the BetterHelp but we just had a comment in the chat about from Nat Silva 015. Y'all know the Cowboys will win the Super Bowl. It's our year, and I replied back, the never-ending hope of a Cowboys fan. So fun to watch it get dashed over and over again. And maybe, Nat, in all seriousness, you maybe need better help about week 3.
I love Cowboy fans. They are eternally optimistic, but I don't see them even winning their division.
That's why they play the games.
That's why they play the games. Brother Bob, can you go to the different venues that we offer all our subscribers? Guys, one thing I do want to say, we're independent here. We pay out of our own pocket. We have the goodness of Brother Bob. This is all his equipment. What we try to do, a lot of people will say, well, they don't yell and scream at each other. You don't do this. We disagree. We do it respectfully. But if you could hit that like and subscribe to our show, what we try to provide is something you didn't know. And that's the biggest takeaway that we try to offer is, did they tell us something that I didn't know? And I've had more people tell me that. Brother Bob, if you could tell the different venues that we can actually be reached through.
Yeah, we're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, we're on Spotify. Obviously, if you're watching tonight, you're on YouTube Live, so you can watch us there, and we'll post the replay of this after I clean up several of my goofs from tonight. So it may be a little bit later before we post the on-demand of tonight. I just got an email this morning from Amazon. Amazon's going to start listing podcasts and Amazon Music. So we just applied for that, and we're going to have a discussion tonight, folks, about Patreon and how to make some stuff available to you on Patreon. I think what we may do is something like a split release of the podcast, so that if you're a supporter on Patreon, you get it a little bit earlier, and if you're not, you just get a little bit later on Friday morning. For some people, hearing some of Drew's predictions, you may want to get a little bit later because you don't want to run into a bridge abutment. And we'll also look at hats and shirts, and I'm going to put something up on the screen here of some. Actually, whoa, that really was not good. I wanted to put up the here. Let me go to this and.
Okay, this is turning into a bad bit.
This is going into a bad bit, but I wanted everyone to see this.
And the lights just went out.
And the lights are going on. Folks, we're in a different space this morning. We got kicked out of our studio, so I have to stand up every now and then and turn the other lights on.
Show the plays.
But yeah, we have plays on the back thing.
We got the plays on. This was the Al Bundy. He scored 4 touchdowns in one game, running that play.
Okay.
So, anyway, we'll get it right. Contribute to Patreon. It'll help build our platform when we do have it up. Guys, have a great evening. As always, go Buckeyes.
Sick 'em Bears.